your boy, Paulus Harris, aka the Crazy Uncle. Hey, guess what? If this your first time tuning in, go ahead, hit doggone subscribe button, hit the notification bell every time I post up new content. Well, people, the Super Bowl is over. The Eagles have won. They're second in their franchise history. But everybody, now here's the deal. I'll be the first one to tell you that yes, I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. Die hard Dallas Cowboy fan. Been a fan ever since what? The mid to late 80s up until now. So don't sit up here. Put it like this. There's no that I've been a fan since the Tom Landry days. Tex Ram, Texas Stadium. That's how far I go back. All right. So I don't need nobody sitting up here trying to question my loyalty for this team. But in either case, right? So a lot of Cowboy fans seem to be pissed off because the Philadelphia Eagles won. Me, on the other hand, I'm glad that they won, right? For two reasons. The first reason is because I got sick and tired of motherfucking Patrick Mahomes winning every goddamn Super Bowl since Tom Brady. In addition, that at least coming up to this Super Bowl, right? It was a lot of calls that were questionable, extremely questionable, right? But then if you actually really just stop and think about it for a minute, right? Everybody was so set on the Chiefs getting that three-peat, right? And so I just look at it like this. Tom Brady got 7 of them things, right? So let's be reasonable here. If they didn't let Tom Brady have it, what the fuck makes y'all think that they was gonna let Patrick Mahomes have it? Okay, and then the second reason is because that win last night, right? If you look at all of the other divisions in football, put it like this is the 59th Super Bowl that has been played. The NFC East has 14 of the 59 Super Bowls that have been played. So I look at it, hey, it's nothing more than another win for the NFC East as a division. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I really think that doggone the Washington Commanders, whenever they get their stuff together and go back to calling themselves the Washington Redskins, guess what? They're gonna be next up. They're gonna be next up. And then, as far as like the Cowboys go, my team, yes, like I said, I'm die hard, right? But me and just like any other Dallas Cowboy fan, gotta sit up here and be like, okay, well, yeah. So I ain't gonna say we because I'm just a fan, right? I don't do no decision making up there. So what I'm saying is, so we get, so they did it anyway. So they hire Schottenheimer, right? And then from what I'm seeing, and my whole deal is I don't know what the fuck the Stephen A. and all the rest of them guys what they was actually really talking about, but For those of y'all that don't know, Schottenheimer is football royalty. His dad coached for the Cleveland Browns and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now if he coached for anybody else after that, I don't know, but you know, Marty was a damn good coach, right? And so I'm pretty sure that any type of knowledge he passed off to his son, because that's what we as men do. But going back to this whole Patrick Mahomes deal, everybody was so like, oh, we gonna let him win. He didn't he gonna the three-peat. Okay, y'all said that shit 9 different teams earlier. I mean 8 different teams earlier, right? And then if you actually really stop and think about it for a minute, it was 9 times out of 10 that the reason why the team favorite didn't make it to the three-peat was either because either a bad calling or the defense just overpowered them. Hence, that's why Kansas City made it to their third straight Super Bowl. Right? So, but so my whole deal is, and then I can sit up here and go into a long song and dance on how these two teams met, blah 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 blah, and all that kind of stuff. But what I want to talk about now is, well, actually, I've actually really been talking about this whole time. I listened to doggone Willie D, and then I mean, but my whole deal is he only. I mean, he tell me something that I don't already know, right? I know that this shit is staged, right? But as far as like the Super Bowl is rigged. I mean, but my thing is, okay, not only is the Super Bowl rigged, but the whole goddamn season is rigged, or seasons being rigged, right? And I know I talked about this. I know I talked about this, right? But just in case y'all didn't catch it the first time round, maybe y'all will catch it this time. Dallas Cowboys, right? Established in 1960, right? This is this past season was this 65th year. And so let's just say that within these 65 years, right? Coach Tom Landry, may he rest in peace, 20 consecutive wins. And by the time that he retired, he was the third winningest coach in NFL history. So let's think about this for a minute, right? You go 20 years winning, and you get 2 Super Bowls out of the deal, right? Then you're looking at the simple fact, okay, Dallas Cowboys, this is America's team. And then I don't need to actually really tell y'all what happened. You and this is, y'all can look at this as speculation all the fuck you want to, but my whole deal is this. What president got killed in Dallas, Texas? Because I'm just telling you, 1960, they come into the league. 3 years later, President Kennedy is killed. And then that 64, 65 season, right? You could bet money that they was going to at least win the game opener, whether it was at home or away, right? And so all of this is within that 20-year run that the Dallas Cowboys had, where they kept winning. They kept winning. They kept winning. And they kept winning. Right? They fell off a little bit. Then who buys the team? Jerry Jones buys the team, right? They go 1-15. But then after that, they in the soup. They get to the playoffs, and then they get to the playoffs, and then they get to the championship game, and to the championship game, to the Super Bowl. 3 out of the last 3 and 4 years. Now, during this time, what the fuck y'all think the other teams were doing? What nobody doing as good as the Dallas Cowboys, unless you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, right? But that stretch, it was a, if you have to really stop and think about it, it was an unbelievable stretch of wins. I mean, to go 20 years and to go 20 years for you not to have a losing season, that's something motherfucking amazing. And then when you actually really stop and look at it for a minute, according to 2020, the ending season of the 20 what was it, 22-23 season, right? Because I looked it up. The Dallas Cowboys has, now great the fact this is since the merger, right? Dallas Cowboys have the highest winning percentage in NFL history. Okay. Now, why is that? Well, it's quite simple, because when everybody else was fucking losing, they was fucking winning. Because they had the hell of a head coach. So don't y'all know that they keep track of that shit? Okay. So Jerry Jones coming to the league. And 9 times out of 10, I actually really think that motherfucker, that shit was actually really set up way before both of them graduated college. Because I'm just looking at it like this. I mean, now, granted the fact the Dallas Cowboys hadn't came into existence yet, and then Jerry he was trying to actually really go after the San Diego Chargers, right? And so, just like I said, some of what I'm about to say right now is speculation. But then, if you actually really stop and think about it for a minute, right? You get select people. You get people that get selected and they get put in a position, and then they tell you what the fuck is gonna happen. We just need for you motherfuckers to be patient just long enough. And then if you patient long enough, which is something that I should actually really know how to do, but I don't. But in either case, here's the deal, people. Jimmy Johnson, Jared Jones, they motherfucking college roommates at the University of Arkansas, which those two were on the same championship team. The only championship team that the Arkansas Razorbacks have as far as like football goes. Guess who else was on that team? Barry Switzer. So if you actually really stop and think about it for a minute, isn't that funny? I mean, because they was friends then. So it's almost like, okay, I'm finna buy the team. Jimmy, I want you up first. Then I'm like, okay, Barry, you come on up. Go come get you a ring. Right? It's almost like the same shit with Jerry Krause, may he rest in peace, with the Chicago Bulls. I mean, like, he was trying to break that team up, I don't know how many times, to this motherfucking ridiculous. So, if put like this, if you got somebody that'll do that, then you get somebody to do this. And as far as like last night's game goes, right? And I told my wife this last night, you know, and this is something that I always tell her, right? But my thing is this: the NFL. If you haven't been listening for the past 15 minutes, I'm telling you that the NFL is rigged. These motherfuckers, they already know who they want in the Super Bowl and why. And if you actually to go back and just, oh shit, well he said this, then bring it back up, then you can go ahead and go on. So my thing is this: Jerry Jones could be tearing up the team, but it's not by his own say so. Because the thing about it though is this, and I truly honestly believe this. Put like this. When you're the most expensive thing out there, as far as like sports go, and then not only are you the most expensive thing out there as far as like sports goes, you also have the highest winning percentage of all NFL teams. So when the NFL, and then the NFL look at this and be like, well, hold on now. We want everybody, we want everybody, at least this is what the fuck they want us to believe. They want everybody on the same playing level, right? But depending on where you are in the country, that ain't gonna motherfucking happen. So again, if you actually really look at this team's history, right? Two movies have been made about this team. Actually, three. One of them was about the cheerleaders. Then you got Any Given Sunday, and then you got North Dallas 40, right? Former players are on television. Shit, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, and Tony Romo. Jimmy Johnson, the head coach, right? So the popularity of this team is so goddamn high, right? Everybody else is still trying to catch up. Because the one thing about the Dallas Cowboys is this: you either gonna love them or hate them. That's why they are the most expensive brand out there to this day. And it really wouldn't surprise me none. Because actually this upcoming season is gonna be very interesting. Because the Dallas Cowboys would turn 66 years old. And this year, if they don't put like this football season is coming up will actually like really be 30 years since the Cowboys went to the big dance. Now, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. But considering who the Cowboys pick up in the draft and whatever they do in free agency, right? Will actually like dictate on how far they go. Because now I know my man Zachary Hubbard, he probably gonna say otherwise. But how I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at how many years they finna be in the league. I'm looking at the doggone logo. I'm looking at how long that they haven't been to the big dance, which actually really makes me think, okay, they going to the big dance, right? And it won't be like They just came out of nowhere, right? And if you actually really paid attention to the press conference, I actually really want to say it was either Jerry or Stephen himself said, "Hey, because he actually really brought up the shit with the Pat Owen, um, the owner of the Broncos at the time when John Elway won his first one. It was either the first one or the second one, and then the guy he said, "This one's for John," right? And so my thing is this: if Schottenheimer wins, whether it be this season or the season after that, watch he say, "This one's for my dad." What? Because I mean, again, you gotta listen to what these motherfuckers say. But hey, it is what it is. So with that being said, hey, guess what? Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell Big Dad, tell Big Bertha, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa. Motherfucker next door, cross street, round the corner. Hollis Harris, aka Greatest Uncle. I'm gonna holler at y'all.